You know that moment when you're trying to explain Scope 3 for the first time to a client or maybe internally to your finance or procurement team? In 5 minutes in, someone's asked about business travel emissions, another jumps straight to purchase goods and services, and you are suddenly bouncing back and forth and your clean presentation just falls apart. Yeah, I've been there. And instead of another PowerPoint presentation, I built this, a fully interactive Scope 3 onboarding tool, created in less than 10 minutes using ChatGPT and no-code platform. And the best part is that you can literally replicate it. Before we dive into the build, let's quickly unpack what Scope 3 actually is and why it's such a headache onboarding people on. Scope 3 emissions cover everything outside your company walls, from suppliers to business travel to waste. The problem? These emissions happen across your entire value chain, upstream with your suppliers and downstream with your customers and waste handlers. And they represent more than 70% of a typical company's total emission. And here is where it gets messy. If you are lucky, someone inside your organization has the data you need. If you are not, that data does not exist yet. Someone has to reach out to suppliers, customers, or even perform some research to fill the gaps. Every department owns a different piece of the puzzle. Procurement, finance, HR, logistics, and you end up spending half the session just figuring out who can provide what. And that's why most Scope 3 onboarding meetings, total chaos. Alright, now let's build this thing. Here is what you'll need. First, the greenhouse gas protocol, and for sure your experience. And in my case, I already have ready to use table with every category from purchase goods and services until the end of life treatment. Each link to the method you can use to calculate it, the data you need, the emission factors, and the possible internal data owner. By the way, you can simply access the whole toolkit, the Scope 3 table, the greenhouse gas protocol link, and the full prompt I will use in a Notion page down in the description below. Now, the two main ingredients for this magic to happen, ChatGPT and Replit. If ChatGPT already amazes you, Replit will blow your mind. But before we start coding or vibe coding, let me explain what that means. Vibe coding basically means building apps without writing a single line of code. Sounds cool. Wait until you see it in action. Well, Replit is your developer. ChatGPT, on the other hand, is your product owner. Let me explain. What Replit does, it translates plain English into code, which is wonderful, but I would recommend having ChatGPT as a middleman here, literally as your product owner, for two big reasons. First, ChatGPT would give you this chat or this GPT agent supporting you developing this dashboard if it's expanded into an app, even if the scope of the product expanded later on. Second, it saves you money. Replit runs on compute credits, and the more you tweak, the more you pay. And for those of you who do not know me, I am Ziad Hataqwe, a chemical engineer turned sustainability manager. I know firsthand how overwhelming it can feel to break into or transition within the ESG and sustainability space. That's exactly why I created the ESG Masterclass, a practical course designed to help you not only understand what sustainability professionals actually do in a day-to-day, but also to understand the big picture every interviewer always to ask about. And today I'm bundling it with two powerful bonuses, the ultimate EU regulation guide and the ESG career guide. The ESG career guide is wonderful, showing you where to find a job, how to apply, and how to stand out in an interview. You can find all the details in the special offer link down below. And now back to the video. Now back to the build. We've got two simple steps. Step 1, start in ChatGPT. Well, paste your prompt or the prompt I just gave you and check the output. Did it understand your app properly? Are the features described clearly? Then you either tweak or confirm and jump to the next step. And here, this is a pro tip. Keep your scope small. Remember, at the end of the day, we are developing a simple, functional tool. not a full-scale software product. You don't really want to jump from a simple onboarding dashboard to a full Scope 3 emission calculator. Believe me, this happens. I know someone who always expand the scope of the projects, and most of the time it doesn't end up well. Once your prompt is ready, or the output from ChatGPT, you can just copy it and bring it to life using Replit. Replit will first analyze your request, show you a description of what the app is about, plus a list of possible features. When you check the description and it looks good, you just hit run and give it about 5 to 6 minutes. It's doing everything behind the scenes, setting the frameworks, interface, and the logic. Then you'll basically be ready to go. The big reveal, let's check it out. All right, the moment of truth. The design looks exactly as we asked for, clean, simple, and fully aligned with the brand colors. Every Scope 3 category right here, organized neatly and ready to explore. So let's see how you'd actually use this during a real onboarding session. Well, usually I would start with a quick presentation just to make sure everyone's on the same page. They understand what greenhouse gas protocol is, what Scope 1, 2, and 3 means. And remember, what actually sounds like a common sense to you as a sustainability professional might be completely a new world for someone in another department. Don't expect your finance or sourcing colleagues to instantly understand what Scope 3 means, just like you might not understand what RFP or EBIT or SKU mix means. Then, once you get to the part where you explain why everyone is in the room, this is where you need the tool. 3 covers your entire value chain, upstream and downstream, and that's why we need every department to be involved. From there, you can walk through the categories one by one, or jump from one to another as people ask for. For example, category 1, purchase goods and services. Here you can show instantly what it includes, which calculation method are available, and who owns the data. In this case, the main methods are average data, mass or unit, multiplied by the cradle to gate emission factors. However, we can fall back to spend-based if detailed information about product is not available. And for both methods, you would typically need procurement to provide either the spend per supplier or detailed material information, including weights. Or let's take, for example, category business travel. As the name suggests, the word usually involves human resources, maybe finance, or some companies have a dedicated travel team. The tool shows the data you'd need from your travel management system: flights, rail, car use, hotel nights. Also, what methods are acceptable? Average data, kilometers multiplied by emission factors by mode of transport. If there are gaps, you can switch to spend-based with a short survey. What's great about this tool is that you can jump freely between categories at any point, depending on the conversation, and keep everyone engaged, and helps each stakeholder instantly understand their role in Scope 3 reporting. This tool is guaranteed to make onboarding way more interactive and helps each stakeholder instantly understand their role in Scope 3 reporting. So what do you think? Is this a gold use case or just another AI gimmick?